Hey now, it's Sharon, and I'm back to share another experience with you. If you're new to the channel, I'm a retired police officer. I have policed 20 years for a southeastern city in the US. 11 of those years I was a detective. I was also in the military. Um, if you find this video interesting, please hit like and subscribe and share if you find it enough information in it to share with someone else. I'm just sharing a perspective from my time in policing. And I wanted to touch on something I said last week about the community and fear as a police officer. I actually thought about how am I leaving the community when I leave for the day? And along those lines of, are they more in fear? Are they more at ease, if you will? And I would like to think it was at ease, but when I really actually think about it, probably left them in fear because I mentioned how we'd be in one area, and that area is probably maybe 3 or 4 miles wide, right? 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 at the most. And you would see 6 or 7 different units in that one area. And on those units, 6 to 10 people, all looking for a body. So their sergeants won't come down on them. And if you saturate that area, I mentioned it, you pull all these bodies out of the area, it starts to deteriorate. And then we wonder why this area looks so downcast. That's one of the reasons. But I wanted to touch on the fact that my evaluation of myself, and when I think about the hiring process and what I went through to get onto this police department, I carried with me some bias and some prejudices. And when I think back to the training, the bias and the prejudices remained. All they did was train me with the bias and prejudice. That's all. It didn't remove it. It didn't cast it down, if you will, or put it on the back burner. I just policed with it, but I realized that. And so, with everything that's gone on in the last 2 or 3 years, you see in policing, and it's just you see more of the abuses going on because of technology. I started to question myself and make sure to do the introspection and how can I help solve this problem? Because there is an issue in policing. So I came up with a plan, and I actually wrote out the plan. I did some research. It's right here. And I just need a seat at the table with whatever mayor or chief, because it includes the police, it includes local government, the courts, and it includes the community. Because even with the George Floyd passing of the bill that they tried to pass, it's still focused on just, it's almost like it micro focused on chokeholds. Chokeholds have always been banned, okay? But on the bigger scope, like I said, when I did the introspection with myself and coming into policing, I came in with bias and prejudice. Yes, I did. I admit it. And so how do we address that issue in policing? The other issue that I noticed with policing while I policed, there were things in place for your mental health, but it was looked at as almost condemning. To go see psych services, you must be crazy. And I realized going through the retaliation and the ostracism and the stress that it put on my body, hence the haircut. You got to go back to the videos to hear about how I got the haircut. The things that were in place were looked down upon, and mental health has to be a part of policing. In your career, it has to have a foundation that is how should we say, it's there and it's implanted. Because like I said, if you were told to go see the psych services, oh, she must be crazy or something. The other issue that I saw while policing, and I'm talking about myself and introspection, coming with the bias, the lack of support in terms of mental health, and then your physical health. You do all this running and gunning and push-ups and sit-ups for the academy, and then it's all dropped to the wayside once you start policing. And your mental health is connected to your physical health. So things like that need to be in place. But it's all in this. Like I said, it encompasses the police, local government, the courts, and the community. And it's a plan, and it's not perfect, but it's a plan. It's something in place. I mean, not in place, but something that could be put in place. Because again, when I do the introspection of myself and how I came into policing, and then I listened to other folks, we've conversated about this throughout the years. Those three things seem to be the constant. How do you get rid of the biases or the prejudices? Or at least put an accountability piece into policing that holds the individual accountable, and I mean at all ranks, and how to keep that in place without it being able to be moved, if you will, or tweaked in such a way that certain people get away with certain things and others don't. That's a long story. I didn't want to keep you guys, but that's what I want to share today. I have a plan. I just need a seat at the table. If you have any ideas, put the comments below, and I'll take a look at them. I'll read them. And again, you don't necessarily have to go through a thing to learn from it. Talk to you guys later. Bye.